Hi teachers, this quick video is going to walk you through how to make your text boxes for use with students. I'm going to give you a few tips and tricks for doing that. So you learned how to make a text box. That's pretty easy. But there's a couple of things you can do to your text boxes to make them a little bit more noticeable for when students need to fill in answers or type in their own answers. So typically, I created a text box. You can't even tell that it's there. Sometimes I might put a question in the text box. But then if I click off of it, students don't know where to put their answer because they don't really see that there is technically a box here to put it. So you want to come up to the lined or the border weight, and we're going to select a border weight that's 1px or over. I tend to select something a little bit more bold. I like 3, but you can do thinner. I also like to change the color. So changing the color on my documents for students makes it super noticeable so that students know exactly where they need to click in order to put their answers. Okay, so there's a box, but then I run into the issue that if a student double clicks, the cursor actually goes to the very beginning of the box. And students can learn to click after the question, but a lot of them, that might create some issue. So what you may want to do, we're going to take this question, we're going to move it outside of the box. I just copied and pasted it. I'm going to make this box much smaller. And then I am going to add directions right after my question. I'm going to say double click in the red box, red. So now I have the question above, and students would simply double click in the red box and be able to type their answer. Now, sometimes we don't want students to be able to edit the question at all. And because Google Slides and Google Drawings weren't initially built to be interactive teaching tools for students, there's not a way to lock that text. However, you can use your snipping tool on your computer or a screenshot in order to take a picture of the text. And so the text becomes a picture instead of editable text. Sometimes this isn't worth it to do for everything, but other times you might find it beneficial. So I'm going to take a little snippet. I'm going to copy this snippet and I'm going to paste it back into my document. And when I do this, now I put this here. Notice students can't click and edit on this because it's actually a picture of the text, whereas they can click and edit on this one. So that's one way that you can use text boxes. You can change the line style on your text box. So if you want a dotted red line or something like that, you think that will draw students' attention, you can use that. It also makes it really easy for you to go through and score things because you can quickly see a box there. Alternatively, for text boxes, sometimes I will use tables. So we're going to insert a table, and I'm going to make several columns. And then instead of putting my question here, I put my question here in the table, and then I have my columns labeled question, answer. And so you can use a table for students to fill things in. I'm going to use the fill, gray out that section, and then they would simply type their answer in the table. So that's a nice alternative to text boxes. I like it because the table also gets bigger as you write. It also keeps things really organized for me to be able to quickly find the answers that students are providing. So you can also use tables for drag and drop. You can create little drag and drop cards for students. So we're going to create a couple of tables here. I am just going to make them just a little bit smaller. And then I'm going to paste a bunch of these. And we're going to drag them around. So I can go up and I can fill these in different colors. Use the paint bucket to fill in. Okay, and then I might change the text, obviously, to match. Okay, so now I have the text matching the color, and for a student to drag what looks like a little card, they would find the 4-way arrow, and then they would be able to drag this card. Now, for most students, this is not a problem, but again, if you need this card to be uneditable so that there isn't a chance that students accidentally double click on the box and they change the size of the box, which I've had happen, the younger grades especially, or they delete the text in the box, you can use your snipping tool again to take pictures of those things. So I'm going to come and click new. I want to make sure that I don't have the text box selected when I go to take the picture, and you can get as close to it as you want. We're going to copy and paste that there. And so you'll notice now students can't double click in this. It's actually an image of a text box. So that can be another way to create drag and drop text boxes for students.